What's going on, XRP Army? It is Joe bringing you guys the latest news on XRP. We have a lot to go over today. We're going to start off with an announcement about tariffs and what Donald Trump said about tariffs happening tomorrow. My thoughts on that. We're going to talk about the Bitcoin Act and why I think that is still bullish for XRP. We're going to talk about a new ETF that just got filed for XRP, what the CIO at Bitwise, one of the ETFs that got filed, said about XRP and why I found that very encouraging and very bullish. Then we're also going to talk about a couple of dates coming up to keep your eye on. So stay tuned to the end of the video. Let's talk about everything XRP today, and I am excited to talk about that with you guys. With that being said, before we dive into prices, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on those bell notifications if you want to see more videos just like this one. And then also feel free to comment below. I'd love to interact with you guys in the comment section. So with that being said, let's take a look at some of the prices today. We have Bitcoin up 4%, we have XRP up 5%, we have Ethereum up 2%, Solana up 5.8%. So we see some of these coins doing well today, which is a little surprising with the tariff news. Whether we drop tomorrow or not, it's a different story. But Donald Trump did say tariffs. He threatened Canada again because Canada responded and talked about electricity and how they might hold some electricity back from us. And then Donald Trump did not like that very much, and he said he will impose even stiffer tariffs on Canada if they go through with some of those. So we'll find out how all that plays out tomorrow. But what I do know is the past few times we have had tariff news, it has not been good for crypto, and it has not been good for the stock market. I know the stock market's been down, but crypto for the last 24 hours still is green a little bit, so that's encouraging for now. Whether it stays that way tomorrow, if these tariffs actually go into effect, that'll be a different story. But to at least see crypto green, even with that announcement, is encouraging, and that is bullish in my opinion, that we're finally turning over that leaf, where before, the last few times we've gotten tariffs mentioned, it has gone straight down. So to see XRP, that held the $2 mark pretty well this time around. It dropped down slightly below 2 for just a second, but it shot right back up and has been holding that line fairly well, which I like to see. With that, let's dive into some news. So, Senator Cynthia Lummis did say today the Bitcoin Act is back, and that's where the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, her plan is for Bitcoin, 1 million Bitcoin over the next 5 years. That's a lot of Bitcoin, and they would not sell it for 20 years, I believe, is the plan. So for the US to hold 1 million Bitcoin over the next 5 years and to hold for 20 years is not only bullish for Bitcoin, obviously it's the most bullish for Bitcoin for the US to be holding that for that long and accumulate that much of it, but I think that's going to really set the stage for the whole crypto industry as a whole. Like, if Bitcoin's doing very well, the market's going to be doing well, people are going to have that money, people are going to be interested in crypto, and you're going to start to see that trickle into those altcoins, and you're going to see some of those other institutions, some other companies, maybe some other states or whatever it may be, start to look at some of these other coins, and I do think XRP is going to be one of the ones leading that. So if Bitcoin, if they do go through with this, and we're seeing senators hop on, like she talks about it, we have Meet Your Bitcoin Act co-sponsors, there's other senators involved, and then you see them responding. Coach Tommy Tuberville, who's a senator, he responded with the ayes. You have Senator Jim Justice responding with the ayes. So to see some of these senators, that's very encouraging for crypto as a whole, as an industry, and I feel like XRP is going to be one of the ones leading that way. So I wanted to talk about this because a lot of people get caught up in the Bitcoin versus XRP debate or Bitcoin versus all the other altcoin debate, and I don't think there's a reason to fight. Let Bitcoin have their thing. Let them have that strategic reserve. Let the U.S. hold 1 million Bitcoin, and then let all that other money, let all that funnel into these other altcoins, let institutions use these altcoins, let the people use these altcoins. There's so much utility in some of these altcoins, and if we just can let the Bitcoin people be happy, let them have this, and then I think it'll just be a win-win for everybody, and I do think that'll be a big win for XRP, even if it's in the Sovereign Wealth Fund or the Strategic Asset stockpile. I feel like XRP could be a player in both of those, and that'll still be a big win, even if it's not in the strategic reserve. So very, very bullish for me, in my opinion, that she does want to bring this act back and go through and try and push this Bitcoin act forward where they would get 1 million Bitcoin. So curious what your thoughts are on that. Do you kind of agree with me there? Do you think you wish XRP was in that strategic reserve? Do you think we should not have the government get 1 million Bitcoin in the next 5 years? Love to hear your thoughts about that. I don't mind. I like that a lot, and I think that's going to really help crypto as an industry. With that, the big news for today from XRP, Franklin Templeton has filed an XRP ETF with the SEC. That brings us to, well, first of all, Franklin Templeton's a $1.5 trillion asset manager, so that's one of the big dogs in the industry. So to hear them have that faith in XRP to file that ETF means we are moving along. We are one step closer to this being approved and this actually happening. With that, we now have 17 XRP ETFs filed. That's very bullish. These companies would not be applying for XRP ETFs if they did not think XRP was going to be a major player in the industry, if they did not think XRP was going to win this lawsuit. And so to see number 17, and Franklin Templeton is one of the big ones, filing these ETFs is just very, very encouraging. And we got that other one today, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So give me your thoughts below on that as well. Would love to hear what you have to say. With that now, Bitwise, you'll see Bitwise was number 1 on the list. And so here's an interesting clip that I found today. Matt Hogan expects the market to react positively with settlement of the Ripple versus SEC case. XRP has been suppressed by litigation for multiple years, and we don't yet know what it could do on a global stage when it's free from those restraints. So this is the CIO at Bitwise talking about Ripple and XRP. Take a listen.
On April 16th, how would XRP respond? How would the market respond here on April 16th?
On April 16th.
That's potentially when the lawsuit would be final.
I think the market would love it.
So that is one of the dates I wanted us to keep an eye on, is April 16th is one of the dates that's rumored to when the lawsuit could potentially be over. So keep an eye on that date. It could happen before then, but April 16 is that target date, so that's why you mentioned that there.
Right. I do think, from my 30,000 foot view, specific to XRP, I think there is a significant chunk of the crypto market that has sort of written it off or forgotten about it. And I think that part of the market is wrong. I think the reality is XRP has been, suppressed by litigation for multiple years, and we don't yet know what it can do on the global stage when it's sort of freed from those restraints. And I think
want a quick touch on that. That's one of the big things too, is we've seen XRP just suppressed all of that big bull run that we experienced. XRP was just suppressed, and it was not going up like all the other coins, and it was just staying kind of the same. So when XRP does get this clarity, is it going to shoot up and make up for that missed time during the last bull runs? That is something he is talking about here.
If we get full clarity and we can now see true business development opportunity in the US and abroad without that sort of Damocles hanging over it, then I think we'll see what XRP can do in the market. I don't think there's any guarantee it will be enormously successful, but there's equally no guarantee that it won't be.
It's on April 6th.
Very bullish in my opinion. Hearing him talk about that brings up a good point. I know I've mentioned that a few times, but to hear the CIO at Bitwise, one of the leaders of one of the companies that filed the ETF, talking about XRP like this shows what they're thinking and what they think is going to happen. They think it's going to make up for lost time. They think XRP is going to, because it was suppressed for so long, that once it gets this clarity, it's just going to shoot up and get to these new points because it missed out on all those gains from the past several years. So to hear them talk about that, XRP like that, is very, very encouraging in my mind, because you can kind of get their thought process and hear what's going through their mind and why they're filing these ETFs. So wanted to bring you guys that. And then here, I told you guys there would be 2 dates to look forward to. We had April 16 and now we have May 22, 2025. So first approval date is postponed for those ETFs onto approval date number 2. Approval date number 2 is May 22. So the Commission finds it appropriate to designate a longer period within which to take action on the proposed rule change. Accordingly, the Commission, pursuant to Section 19B2, designates May 22, 2025 as the date by which the Commission shall either approve or disapprove. And so that's another date to look into and be ready for. But April 16 is the next one. That's the big one. I do think we could get some news before then, so keep your eye on that. But hopefully we don't have to wait a month for that news. But if we do, I think we're going to see some big gains. So with that, curious your thoughts. Would love to hear your thoughts. I know I've been bringing lots of positive news about XRP despite the market not really reflecting that. We aren't seeing these big gains. And I think that has a lot to do with a few things. One is the clarity on XRP. I feel like there's a lot of unclarity still. 2 is we don't know what the government's going to do, or a lot of the unclarities with the case, the SEC case. We're waiting for that regulation clarity. 2, the government. We just don't know what's going to happen. It seems like there's a lot of manipulation going on, and the price goes up and down depending on what Donald Trump says, and we just don't know how crypto is going to play a role in this government yet. We do know, I'm fairly confident it will play a role, but what that role is going to be, we don't know. We've heard lots of rumors, lots of talk about it, and I think everyone's waiting for that. And then 3rd, liquidity. There's just not enough liquidity in the market right now to respond to these good news items that come up. And I feel like when the market's doing better, once we have that liquidity, then once we get these announcements, we're going to see those massive jumps like we have been seeing the last couple of bull runs. So once we fix all those 3 things, once those 3 things get addressed, once we get that clarity, once we get some clarity in the government, once we get the clarity in the case, and then once we get some more liquidity in the market, I think that's when we're going to see XRP and crypto really take off. So we're holding that $2 line very well. That's very encouraging. I still am holding out hope for, my prediction is still a $5 XRP in the next couple of months, because I do feel like some of those things are going to start to happen, and I feel like that's just going to make XRP explode. And then obviously my goal and my prediction for the end of the year is still that $8 to $10 range, and I think that's very doable. But short-term prediction, $5, still think that's in play, still think it's going to happen, but we do need to overcome those hurdles that will be coming up shortly. So keep an eye out for April 16, May 22. Give me your thoughts below on the ETF, on the CIO at Bitwise's comments, on the Bitcoin Act, and on tariffs. I'd love to talk with you guys about all of that news, and until then, I will talk to you guys next time.